Welcome back, and thank you for joining us. This is Trending Now USA. I'm Bella, and today we are covering a major development that has taken the tennis world by storm. The aftermath of the Coco Gauff versus Iga Świątek clash has ignited intense discussion, heated reactions, and surprising opinions across the world. But perhaps the biggest voice weighing in now is none other than tennis legend Serena Williams. The reaction from Serena has sent shockwaves through fans, analysts, and players, and the situation surrounding this match now appears far more complex than just a competitive rivalry. The drama began after Coco Gauff and Iga Świątek faced off in a match that instantly became one of the most talked-about moments of the season. What initially looked like another standard competitive showdown quickly turned into something much bigger, a storyline involving questionable officiating, emotional tension, confusing calls, and reactions that many fans described as intense, frustrated, or even confrontational. Social media exploded, players reacted, and now Serena Williams herself has stepped forward to share her perspective. Serena's voice carries unique weight. As a 23-time Grand Slam champion and one of the most influential figures in tennis history, her response doesn't just matter. It shapes narrative, opinion, and the future tone of how matches like this are perceived. Fans have been speculating all week about whether she would speak up, especially as videos of certain controversial points circulated globally, with millions debating whether officiating and match conduct were fair, biased, emotional, or simply misunderstood. Serena finally broke her silence, and her reaction has left many stunned. Before we get to what she said, let's break down what happened during that now infamous match. Coco Gauff entered the court confident, sharp, and ready. Iga Świątek, the world-renowned powerhouse known for her unmatched mental discipline and consistency, also stepped in with a clear game plan. For much of the opening set, it appeared routine, fast, aggressive, and intense tennis. But then, things changed. A disputed call at a crucial game point triggered visible frustration from Coco. The replay clips started circulating online instantly, slow-motion frame-by-frame analysis, fan commentary, and expert breakdowns flooded social feeds. Some argued Coco was right to challenge what looked like a misjudged call. Others insisted the rules were followed correctly. But few disagree that the chain reaction from that moment created a shift in the atmosphere on court. Coco's emotional response fueled speculation about pressure and expectations. Iga's body language became a focal point too, calm to some, indifferent to others, and, according to a few fans, dismissive. Whether or not any disrespect was intended is still debated. By mid-match, the energy in the stadium changed. Spectators were no longer simply watching a routine match. They were witnessing something unpredictable and emotionally charged. The commentators fell silent several times, unsure of how to interpret what was unfolding. Some pointed to Coco's rising frustration as a sign of her competitive fire and unwillingness to tolerate unclear officiating. Others suggested the situation was distracting from her tactical execution and giving Iga a mental advantage. When the match concluded, Iga walked off victorious, but it wasn't the victory that became the headline. Instead, the post-match reactions dominated conversation. Coco's interview was raw and emotional. She expressed disappointment, not only in losing, but in how certain calls were handled. She did not attack Iga, but she made it clear she felt the match dynamic shifted in ways beyond tennis. Her comments were measured, but it didn't take long for fans to interpret them as an implied statement about fairness. Meanwhile, Iga's response was cool and controlled. She acknowledged the tension but chose to distance herself from the controversy. She suggested that emotions are part of sports and that players must cope and move forward. For some viewers, this response felt respectful. Others found it cold. And with those differences in perception, the divide between fan bases deepened. Social media quickly polarized. Team Coco. Team Iga. Neutral observers. Former players stepped in too, some defending Coco's frustration, others praising Iga's composure. Experts analyzed replay footage, line calls, facial reactions, even racket grip pressure as if decoding a mystery that extended far beyond strategy. And then, Serena Williams spoke. Serena did not enter softly. Her comment carried clarity, strength, and unmistakable conviction. She said that players, especially young top-ranked athletes, deserve fairness, clarity, and respect during crucial moments. She highlighted the immense pressure Coco faces, being seen as both a rising superstar and a symbol of a new generation. Serena did not attack officials or accuse anyone. Instead, she pointed directly at the broader problem: inconsistent officiating and emotional expectations placed unevenly on different athletes. She emphasized that Coco handled herself well given the situation, and her comment about growth was perceived as both encouragement and support. Serena's statement also acknowledged Iga's ability, praising her mental strength, her discipline, and her performance. But she made it clear that tennis is evolving and expectations for fairness must evolve too. Fans interpreted her message as balanced, powerful, and necessary. But others believed Serena's words were a clear message: the standards applied to one player should apply to all. The reaction was immediate. Coco fans celebrated Serena's words as validation. Iga supporters pushed back, arguing Serena's comment could intensify drama instead of cooling it. Media headlines framed the statement as serious and impactful. Commentators debated whether Serena was stepping in as a mentor, a legend, or a protector of fairness. But this reaction wasn't only about a single match, it reflected something deeper: the rise of a new era in women's tennis. Coco Gauff represents the next wave: bold, strategic, emotional, and unapologetic. Iga Świątek represents power, discipline, precision, and the current standard. Their rivalry symbolizes transition. Their differences fuel engagement. Their match, including its conflict, signals a shift in the sport. Serena's voice reminds fans that tennis history is shaped not only by clean victories, but also by the conversations following them: fairness, pressure, treatment, perception, and evolution. Following her comment, analysts began rewriting narratives. Instead of asking whether the officiating was questionable, they began asking whether fairness in the modern era requires technological improvements, emotional acknowledgement, or rule reassessment. Other players eventually responded too. Some echoed Serena's point about player treatment. Others defended the officiating system. The disagreement made headlines bigger. Meanwhile, Coco Gauff stayed mature, avoiding escalation. In a later interview, she said she appreciated support from legends, but wanted to keep moving forward. She also stated she hopes the situation leads to improvement for players, not conflict. Iga Świątek also avoided inflaming discussion, insisting the match was emotional but part of the sport. She reminded the media that rivalry is natural and her respect for Coco remains. But despite both players showing maturity, fans see something brewing: a rivalry with emotional weight, history, and symbolism. Serena's reaction amplified that energy. Now, broader questions are circulating. Will this affect future officiating? Will matchups between Coco and Iga become bigger than competition? Something symbolic, cultural, generational? Will the tennis world eventually look back at this moment as a turning point? As attention grows, tournament officials are discussing possible changes quietly. Technology upgrades, additional replay opportunities, new communication policies with players. Whether or not change happens, one thing is clear: this match is no longer just a match. It's part of tennis history. Serena Williams, Coco Gauff, and Iga Świątek are now tied to a moment that transcends winning and losing. It's about fairness, emotion, respect, and evolution, and the world is watching what happens next. This story is still unfolding, and as reactions continue to surface, one truth remains: tennis has entered a new era, one defined by extraordinary talent, passion, rivalry, and voices powerful enough to reshape the sport. Thank you for watching. This is Trending Now USA, and I'm Bella. Stay tuned, because this story is far from over.